right. So yeah, can you tell me a little bit about why you're out here today?
Because the rights and freedoms of Canadians and people worldwide have been stripped and decayed over a fictitious health crisis.
So do you just not like wearing a mask, or do you not?
It's not about wearing a mask. I'm not going to stand here and say that there isn't a virus that we could label COVID-19, but there are plenty of sources to show that virus hasn't been isolated genetically. They have no way to accurately test for this virus. They're testing for immune system stress and a general coronavirus, which most people don't know is a group of viruses responsible for almost every common cold you've ever had. So we haven't isolated a virus. We're not testing. We're using PCR testing to detect a virus when the inventor of the PCR test, Carrie Mullins, says this cannot be used to detect infection. It's a DNA multiplier. So if you have ever had a coronavirus, a flu shot even in the last 10 years, crank up the PCR counts on that test and now you're positive. The CDC themselves a couple months ago put out an article saying our testing might be 94% false positives. This is a propaganda tool used to get the Canadian population to be calm and go home while they make our money useless.
Okay, how do you account for all the statistics that have come out?
Statistics are so easy to fake. If you go and look up how many people have died in various reasons overall this year versus last year, there is an insignificant change, and many times there's a change in the negative direction. There were less people that died overall this year than last year in some situations. Now, how do you justify the couple hundred deaths in Canada that were outside of a long-term care centers versus the huge uptake in alcoholism, drug abuse, domestic violence, kids being ripped and stripped from the school system and forced into wearing masks like a slave population? Right now, there is a call to action from 369 Media forcing Bonnie Henry and Janet Austin to prove in any way, shape, or form that the debate can be had, that the measures taken are justified against the risk that there is out there. At this point, if you use even the mainstream numbers, the survival rate is 99.96. This is a propaganda tool to get you and I to go home and wait patiently for our money to be worthless and swapped out for a digital world currency. Even our Prime Minister now is talking great reset. Well, Canada's already great. We don't need a reset. We need to dethrone our corrupt leaders and start again with a government that is for the people, by the people.
Yes.
All right, you mentioned devaluing currency. Can you kind of explain that a little bit?
Devaluing currency. Right now, for every dollar that Trudeau prints, it reduces the amount or the worth of the money that's already in your pocket, to the point that the Canadian dollar in any other time in history, it has gone the way of Zimbabwe by now, where it is completely worthless. But because the government is using this money to prop up financial systems at the same time, there's this facade of success taking place here. And again, every dollar that is printed and given away willy-nilly is devaluing the money that you already have. Anything you have saved is declining by the day as you print more monopoly money.
All right, and just kind of the final question, what do you suggest we do? What's the solution that you see?
The solution is non-compliance!
Questions!
We do not comply with your tyranny. We don't comply with staying home. We don't comply with not going to church. We do not comply. You do not mask a healthy population. The cure is easy. Every one of us here and every one of us out there needs to say no. I'm going to go to work And I'm going to see my grandma. And when my child needs surgery, I'm going to be there by their bed. And the seniors in these care homes are being treated like prisoners. And they are crying out to the media to say, we would rather die tomorrow of COVID than live 2 years by ourselves. This is the planned deconstruction of Canadians.